Woof.
Welcome back.
Back to talk about dogs more, yeah. So, for a year or two, this dog would, shit everywhere. And then, just one time, the most
Wait,
pissed
hold
off...
on. Before you just go off on this, you should probably, remind the audience what the hell you're talking about.
I'm not, a fan of dogs, I just find them annoying. Ultimately, the core of it is I just don't find, dogs to be interesting. The kind of personality that they have and, the kind of relationship that a dog provides, I've never been interested in having.
Me neither.
Which I know is probably the most crazy thing ever to a lot of people, and I completely understand. I know Gandhi has that quote, you can tell the moral character of a country based on how they treat their animals. I completely understand that I am just a bad person for this.
I don't subscribe to that. I also hate dogs, and fuck them.
But, it's their, whole unconditional love thing, I just find, creepy and boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't interest me. I'm just not interested in
I don't even care about their personalities. I just think they're fucking gross.
Yeah, I know... Well, the thing is, most people think they're
creatures.
gross, but, their character allows them... The character of dogs makes them, overcome the grossness,
Not for me.
But not for me, because I don't care about the character. Something... I don't know, when a dog just, tries to love me, including the one that my brother has, I was just I don't care. I feel bad for you. Ultimately, the way I feel is that dogs aren't even animals. They're chimera. We created them. Dogs are not natural. We bred them to be this weird, pathetic, sympathetic thing that you're supposed to feel bad for. So I ultimately blame humans, dogs are supposed to be wolves that go over and bite your throat out and then can survive out in the snow, which I at least respect,
Yeah.
We literally made dogs useless. Who's the real monster here?
Yeah. There's a whole episode of Rick and Morty about this.
Right, exactly, yeah. But yeah, this dog is, a medium-sized dog, up to here. He's old now.
Up to here means nothing to the audio audience.
Yeah, I know, but whatever. But this dog's old now, and he's just chill, He's still friendly to me. And I was just too much of a bitch about it for a long time. Again, no pun intended. But just being too easily annoyed, because basically the rule was, because my dad is also he kind of appreciates animals' relationships and stuff. But he just can't deal with the grossness. So he was also against having pets for a long time. But my brother is that kind of person who wants the challenge and wants the companionship of dogs, I guess. So the rule was I cannot do anything at all to take care of the dog, right? I must not be bothered in any way whatsoever. Now,
that's the same rule I have about the cat.
Right. But I was strict about it. And especially as a child, I was very persnickety with rules, right?
Yeah.
So there were times where I'd have my food on the counter in the kitchen, walk away for a minute, and the dog would get into it. I'm deal with the dog. And my brother was put your food on the microwave where he can't get to it. I'm do you remember the agreement? I'm not bothered to do anything. The fact that I'm even having a conversation about it is already in violation. So this is the kind of asshole that I was, that whipped my brother into shape, into whipping the dog into shape, into being a good dog, right?
Yeah.
I
can't tell if you're proud of yourself or not.
Well, pride and shame are two sides of the same coin as far as I'm concerned, right?
Put that on your tombstone.
Yeah. Put pride on one side and shame on the other.
Sure.
So... Nah, I'm mostly just proud. I actually don't care. I think it's totally deserved. Because dogs are gross. Here's what he did one time. I'm glad that my brother did not share a room with me at the same time that he shared a room with the dog. But it was just unpleasant to know that he would just, one time, he just got out of his little cage within the room, shat in various places, smeared it in various places, got into some of his GameCube games, and, somehow spliced the discs open.
Whoa.
The plastics that contained the
Oh, yeah, I know
information
what you mean.
were spread out, and the information was itself, independent of the discs. It was shocking.
Duck these?
It was this... I remember at some point we actually, had to, rank, the level of shit destruction. Oh, man, this is a 9 right here. And I'm this is a 12. This was just a travesty. I hated it. Thankfully, around the same time that my brother figured out how to get that dog to stop shitting everywhere, we moved out of the house. Got a new house, so that was no longer an issue. The only issue then was the dog always being in my way. Because the way that house was arranged, it's like a labyrinth, a series of little hallways that house was. So the dog was always in my way, and I was getting pissed off because I was still a depressed teenager, right? But then we got into a nice big house where he was never in my way, and now he's old, so he's just chill, right? So that's good. And then they got another dog.
Oh, yeah.
My sister gets one of those little dogs that they sell in the.
Got to get the new one now before the old one dies, so you don't have as much heartache.
Well, it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. Like the dog's not that old. I mean, I'm sure he's getting older by the minute. I don't know what he's like now. I've been away for a few months, but yeah, now it's just one of those more generic little white dogs, you know, like the tiny ones that you get like that they literally bought it at like
a poodle.
No, it's like one of those like
two people who don't like dogs trying to describe a dog.
Just one of the ones with like the long fluffy hair. You know, just like
that's not a poodle?
No, it's not a poodle. My dog knowledge, I'm realizing, is more than yours, at least.
Well, I mean, your description is not helpful.
Whatever.
You said a small white dog with poofy hair, which sounds like a poodle.
Well, like poodles, like I'm talking ones that have the poofy hair everywhere. Poodles are groomed usually, I guess, right?
No.
Maybe, you know what? I think I remember this dog being related to poodle. Like, I don't know, whatever. They bought it. I think it was like they bought it off of Craigslist, maybe. Yeah, because I was about to say that they bought it at like in the parking lot at Walmart. They actually bought a cat that way.
In the park, like from the parking lot?
Yeah.
Like someone was in the parking lot hawking cats?
Yeah, I think something like that. But yeah, they bought a cat, which I don't mind cats as much, you know, because they're cats.
Yeah,
Because like also in the same timeline, we actually had this cat that like adopted us shortly before we got the dog, and like carried along with us when we moved like twice, and then mysteriously got killed somehow, probably by some neighborhood dog. Yeah, and that was kind of sad because I actually liked that cat, like she had great fur and a great meow that wasn't annoying. She wasn't annoying to be around. Like she wasn't like a touchy-feely type of cat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's definitely the closest I've got to losing any sort of thing that I care about that is alive, you know?
Right.
So I guess they got another cat to like compensate for that, but this is just like a more normal cat, you know? But still, way better than the dog. And so it's just, yeah, another dog gets around. I totally forgot about the other dog. There's 3 dogs in this story. The other one was like the same size as
You're
Isaac.
going pretty deep down this dog hole, dude.
Right, yeah. Well, the point is, this was a female dog. Freaking menstruated at one point all over the floor. It was like terrible. This is the hard life and times of being in a house that has dogs. You must hear these information, right? Makes you uncomfortable? Exterminate dogs for me then, so I don't have to talk about it.
Go vote up dogs.
Like because like my parents have always been slippers people, right? And I just didn't want to wear slippers. And like at one point, I'm like in the kitchen having to dodge drips of dog blood. And I'm like, God. And my mom was like, hey, you should be wearing slippers, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is like totally the reason that you should be getting slippers. These everyday annoyances of dog menstruation. That dog just ran off at one point, never came back. And I'm like, well, you know. So that's where that one went. And you know what's funny is I like to think that I even care about the lives of these dogs more than my parents do. Because like the dog ran off and like my mom just like forgot to tell us for like several hours because we were at work and stuff, and I'm like, isn't that like bad? And at one point the little white dog was like hanging around in this
Davoo, you've gone too far down the dog hole. I've stopped paying attention. I hate dogs more than you can possibly know, and hearing about them, my brain just slowly glazes over.
Okay, I guess I want to say this one more thing because this is a funny time for me. The dog was like in this little spot of the kitchen where like my dad had accidentally like spilled some pills, and I noticed, oh my gosh, there was a bunch of pills spilled. The dog's over there sniffing around. I tell my dad, hey Dad, your dog's around all those pills. To which my dad's reaction was, no need to shout. Here, let me see here. He's like, my mom was asleep like several rooms away, and I'm like, aw yeah. So I went to my brother and sister and was like, hey, you know, gosh, I can't even remember the dog's name, but like, you know, the dog would have died if not for me. And my dad barely cared. He said, no need to shout. I care about the dog's lives more than your parents do.
Well, unfortunately, my life was not important either.
Gosh, why did I bring up the dogs?
I don't fucking know. You
Whatever.
totally killed my entire brain talking
Yeah.
about dogs. There's nothing in the world that I care less about.
Yeah,
dogs.
yeah. But I didn't realize that was a rant that was ready to go. I wasn't even planning on it ever. That was not on my notes. I'm going off script here. Oh yeah, my point is that's why I ended up wearing slippers, because the dogs would just like lick the floor all the time.
Right.
So I had a very strict policy of always wearing slippers outside of my room, never wearing.
Oh my god! Wait, did we really get onto dogs from the slippers topic?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's how I started wearing slippers. So the strict policy: always wear slippers when I'm in the house, never around the house. Then always take them off before I go into my room. That way the germs will never come up with me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey. The policy still stands in my mind. Any annoyance I have to go through is I shouldn't have to, right? So the fact that I'm wearing slippers at all is already generous. And there are some times where I was going up to my room carrying some tea in a teacup.
Chicken and tea.
Sometimes with chicken as well, and my slippers would get stuck. Would I'd like hit them up against the side of one of the steps, you know. And it would cause me to trip a bit, causing the tea to spill out some onto the floor, onto the hardwood floor. And my logic is, that's not my fault. Because it spilled because I tripped because I had slippers on because there's dogs. So therefore, I don't clean up the tea.
That's definitely
Now, when I
being
was-
an asshole.
Yeah, like when I was saying I used to be an asshole about this, I don't think I should have used the word used. This is very recent. And I'm just like telling everyone this. I'm telling all my friends like at home, like, oh yeah, this is how much of an asshole I am. It's true though. Fuck it.
I'm surprised none of them kicked your ass.
I don't know.
Roger said, Davoo, the fact that you're bragging about this means I don't want to talk to you anymore.
And it's just what I'm like, I guess.
That's Davoo. Whip beep 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 beep.
How often do you just go off into like end of Weird Al polka medley mode? Just like
I guess fairly often.
Actually, that last part I realized at some point was added just by me thinking about the ending of a Super Mario World level. Anyway, oh yeah, and this is in the broader subject of cleanliness. Let's see, oh yeah, see, I feel like my standards for cleanliness were raised when I became a window cleaner, because most people who hire window cleaners are clean freaks.
Right.
So, lots of clean houses, both rich and poor. I've gotten a disproportionate standard of cleanliness, you know?
Makes sense.
Let's see, I don't mind stuff sticking to my feet as much as you do. I don't mind cockroaches as much as you seem to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want any type of insects to be in the house, that's for sure.
No insects should ever be
In the
alive in the world. They should all be dead.
I don't disagree.
What do they what do they
even
bring to the world?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You know there have been talks of exterminating all mosquitoes from the world.
Have you seen the Kurzgesagt video about that?
I have not.
The Kurzgesagt video like ends with, now on one hand, if we use genetic engineering to exterminate all mosquitoes ever, it could totally ruin the biology of the world if we do it wrong. But on the other hand, 6 children have died of mosquito-induced malaria since this video started.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, Kurzgesagt, I love you. Guys, if you don't know, watch this channel called Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Just try to spell it phonetically and hopefully you'll get it. There are these videos with unbelievable production values. Like, even classifying them as YouTube videos is kind of unfair because it's a studio of like 12 people. Definitely the highest level production on YouTube I know of. And like when Nate was on Twitter bragging about his timelines, I just like showed him a Kurzgesagt timeline, and he was like, okay, I'm advanced. These guys are the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
So yeah, they made but I love them because they're so pro-future. They're so pro like science and progress, even at like the risk, even at risks of like environmental destruction.
Yeah.
That's talking my kind of language.
So I mean, there's no way that like it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all mosquitoes. I mean, no one would be unhappy about it.
Yeah, Kurz that video even said, like, as far as we know, they don't actually serve any purpose.
Yeah.
They don't actually help any other species. They're just a pain.
Yeah.
So
no
fuck
one likes
them.
Kill them. Kill them.
Nah.
Yeah, I hope we do it. I hope we fucking pull the trigger on that shit. Mass genocide a whole fucking species. I am way down.
Yeah. We can't do it to other humans anymore. It's just not in vogue. We gotta just do it on things that are smaller than us.
In vogue.
Oh, nice. There's a little mini map showing you where you are. That's convenient. You see that?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if those were in other rooms.
Let's see. Cleanliness. Meanwhile, Ben, is kind of slovenly by comparison. I bring this up just because he had this disaster of grease all over the kitchen last night. He got into deep frying, but like the deep frying kind of gets out of hand, and like the whole floor was greasy today, and he didn't know. And like all day I'm just waiting for him to wake up so I can tell him. And like grease had spilled out of his deep fryer and gotten into the silverware drawer, and like all the silverware have grease on them now. And like I'm just like, how did he not notice? How does this man live?
I'm not too surprised that I mean, I don't know if I would have noticed, in the same situation.
Yeah.
But then I also am unscrupulous, so
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to feel like, I don't want people to think that I'm a clean freak by any means. I feel like it's just like the cleanliness is different with me. And I've been slowly evolving to fit the nature of the house more, so it's not even really an issue. I just bring it up because I feel like I should bring it up on this Let's Play show because it was a topic at one point.
yeah. When was it? When did we talk about? We did talk about it, but why?
I just feel like I never went off about the subject. You know?
But it wasn't on the Let's Play. When did we talk about your reaction to the cleanliness?
Well, I
of the
talked about it in
house?
some of like the vlogs, like RadCon 2016, the complete Davoo
maybe that's what it
experience,
was.
in which I got the audience's reaction to the fact that your silverware is just in a shelf, disorganized, like it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
in a pile.
yeah.
And over time, I have completely been sold on that method.
Yeah.
Like for those who don't know, you should go to my video RadCon 2016, the complete Davoo experience. I show your silverware drawer, which is just all the silverware, no order, no division, just a big pile of it. It really is totally convenient. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Now, it would have been convenient in this case because with the grease spilling situation, that would have been under much more control. But still, that's not really a relevant
That was a
variable.
weird situation.
A weird situation, yeah.
All right, everybody. We're about to end this episode. The next episode will probably be the last of Wario Land 4.
Oh my.
I believe this is the final boss. I don't know if there's a final boss. I don't think so.
Well.